music. He's like love, 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 and music. La la la, love, 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 and music. Love, love.
Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. This is our review for the new TV show on the OWN network. It's called Love Is. The season 1, episode 1. I have really been waiting for this show to start. It looks very intriguing. I am loving the new shows on OWN. Not only that, it is by was it Mara Brock? I just want to make sure I get there. I always forget how. Yeah, Mara Brock Akil and also Celine McKill, who did Girlfriend. They did The Game. They had things to do with Black Lightning, being Mary Jane. So they have a great staple in the great storytelling of Black culture, Black people. So I love, love, love it. Also, the actor Will Catlett, he played what did he play? Yaya on, was it Yaya? Did I make that up? I gotta look at him just to be sure. They don't say what his name was, but he played on Black Lightning. I do think the character name was Yaya. No, Lala. Girl. Lala on Black Lightning, and I loved his crazy gangster character on Black Lightning. So when I saw him doing this show, I had to tune in to see a different version of him. I'm sure he tried to play it in other things, I'm not sure, but I first was introduced to him on Black Lightning. So I think it's a great show. The show was supposedly, well, no, not supposedly, the show was based on the life, in love of Mara Brock and also Celine in their younger years. So it was, loosely based on that. Well, loosely based meaning the truthfulness of it, but it could just be added things to it to make it a little bit more spicy or whatever. So, he is playing the character Yazir, and the female character her name is Nuri. So I like the episode so far. The show so far. We see is kind of a story of the older Nuri and Yasir 30 years after they've met, telling the story of how they got to be where they are as a couple 30 years later. So we do see them in the beginning is older Nuri, older Yasir, and they're being interviewed for different things. And then it goes back to 1996 when they first met. So we do see they are basically at like a coffee house. We see Yazir, his friend Sean, is there, and Sean is like, it's this girl, like she's this banging girl, I like her, and I just want you to meet her. So Nuri walks in and she walks right past him, and he's like, she walked right past me. Like, well, I didn't say I knew her. So it's a thing of Sean wanted Yazir to see this girl who he hadn't even met or talked to. So at that point in time, Yazir walked up to her and started talking to her. Hey, I'm Yazir, what's your name? So they kind of was talking and vibing or whatever. And it's like, he had the balls to go up and say something to her, whereas Sean had not said anything, even though he had been watching her for a while as being a cute woman. And you do see them talking initially. There's a little bit of a spark. There's a little bit of an interest that they have these common interests as far as being writing and directing and things like that and storytelling. So it's that little connection of it, how they both are kind of struggling right now, struggling writers, struggling artists and everything. But, he like, all right, well, it's great meeting you. Hope to see you later on. Or see you wherever else, you know what I'm saying? Bye-bye. So he then go back to Sean and say, because Sean had walked with a guy to get coffee or whatever. And then he said, oh, her name is Nuri, and, she's into writing and directing. And he's like, oh. But again, it was a thing where it wasn't as if they were talking that first time. So that was their first conversation. So then it skips to 1 year later. And again, he's living his life, she's living hers. Now, we see he had then left Cali. Now he's coming back to Cali. And he's living with a girl named Ruby. So Ruby is like his girlfriend or whatever, and they're living together. And she does like yoga. He's a struggling writer. He does not have a job, and she wants him to desperately get a job. And he like, look, I got a few interviews coming up. I got 2 unemployment checks still coming. So it's okay. And I'm finishing my manuscript. So, but he also gave her like 2 tickets to celebrate him kind of finishing his storyline or whatever, and her having her own yoga business. So I just have yoga mats and like stretch. It was a dumb person, like, it's not really a business. He like, yeah, but can't we just celebrate, where we are, you doing that and me doing this, I'm saying? I don't want you to kill my dreams. Nothing happens overnight, but we have to celebrate, us basically making out of our own towns and, doing even a little bit of something here. And she like, look, my name on this lease and I can't pay the rent. So I need you to give me some money. And he like, oh my God, it's just so tiring. It's like, matter of fact, won't you go ahead and sell these 2 tickets and give the money to pay the rent? And I'm like, they not in a good place at all. So we see he's a struggling artist and she's the one kind of paying whatever bills that she can pay. And she's frustrated with him and he's probably frustrated with her as well. When you have these men, honey, who can't afford stuff, it's a toss up between, do I allow him the time to flourish and nourish to this dream of his? However, we have these monthly bills, okay, and someone has to pay them. And at what point do I say, I need you to do more than what you're doing? And it doesn't come off as nagging. What she was doing, it came off as nagging, but we don't know how long he had been not working and not making any money. So she like, to scout them tickets and bring me the money for the rent, and this is what it is. So we see that whole part. Now for Nuri, we see she's survived. She's flourishing. She has a job as a writer on a TV show. She's just bought a new house. She has her own car. She cut all her hair off, but she looks great. So she's basically flourishing within the world, whereas Yazir is not. They're on 2 different sides of the spectrum. We see that Kadeem Hardison, who played Dwayne Wade on A Different World, Dwayne Wayne on A Different World, is playing her boss. And I don't like his acting just yet. I felt something like he was trying too hard to be a tough boss, and I just didn't see it. It's something about how he was talking that was kind of off to me, but it was what it was. Anyway, they're like in their little writer's room, and he's like, we have this joke about the dude being a prisoner or whatever, and we have to make it funny. And she's like, Nuri's like, I think we should get rid of the whole joke. And he's like, oh, you don't think my stuff is funny? She's like, no, it's not that, but I think we should take the stigma away of him being in prison. And he said, okay, what jokes do you have that we should replace it with? And she had no ideas. He said, you know what? When you point out problems with no solutions, you're a critic. And this is a writer's room. Meaning, if you ain't here to write, if you're to critique stuff without any kind of solutions, you ain't supposed to be here. And she's like, oh, well, April Fool's, a whole lot of like, I wasn't being for real. He like, whatever, you must have saw that house you just bought withering away. Because if not, you're fired. Okay, so just come here, have some great ideas, and let it be what's gonna be. So we go from that scene to her at her house in her bed, and she wakes up. Her mom in her house. Her mom is in her house with her damn neighbor. She's like, Mom, and we didn't look over. She has a man in the bed. She's like, okay, get up. He's like, well, I can't get up. I ain't got no drawers on. And she's like, why not? All we did was dry hump. I said, did she just say dry hump? Look, excuse me. When she said all we did was dry hump, the first thing I thought, if all y'all did was dry hump, why didn't he go home? Like, did people like back in the day, you don't dry hump and spend the night. You either have sex and spend the night, or you don't spend no nights. When she said all we did was dry hump, I'm like, can he step over? But clearly he did extra. He relieved himself sometime within that night and took his drawers off. I'm like, girl, she literally said all we did was dry hump. I was like, people did dry hump back in the 90s. I guess so. But it's a whole different time now. So, he gets up, he's trying to get himself dressed. Her mom was there. She's like, Mom, what are you doing here? Oh, whatever. So her mom's like, what's your name? What do you do? What's your zodiac sign? Oh, he's whatever. He's an Aries. He loves you. He doesn't love me, Mom. He's like, actually, she's like, I told you don't fall in love with me. Like, you don't really control it. You can't control it. It was a funny scene, an extra scene, but still like, okay. It's drawn something about her, of how she do things, and her mom was like all in her business. It's like a free, open conversation. So, and when he says how he did not mean to fall in love with her, but he just do. She's like, well, you're not the only one she's dealing with, so you need to just kind of get over that. He's like, what? And she says, oh, well, yeah, it's two other. Well, technically it's three. I'm like, oh shit, she's a goddamn person. Her body, her choice. And he like, oh my God. So the guy is mad. He leaves. Her mom talk. Her mom's like, look, you have to make time for more than just work. Your house does not even have any furniture. Like, get yourself together, girl. Like, I need you to live in this world that you're living in or whatever. So we see that whole thing. We then see Nuri out shopping for furniture in the little store. So she's looking at the little couch, she's sitting on it, looking at it, sitting on it. And as she's leaving the furniture store, Yazir and Sean, again, this is a year later, happen to walk past her, walking out. My battery already low. They walk past her coming out the store, and they notice her. Now we see Sean has a whole baby. So Sean in this year has had a child. And we see Yazir like, that's the girl. No, Sean said that's the girl from a year ago from the thing. She just cut her hair. And then he like, oh, that is her. So Sean got a whole baby and a girlfriend. So Yazir goes to talk to her. He goes into the other store to talk to her. Like, hey, remember me from last year? We met at the coffee house or whatever. My name was Yazir, the director, whatever. We're trying to do this and this and this. Oh, yeah, hi. So at first she did not remember who he was. But he kind of jogs in memory. She sees Sean also like, oh yeah, I would see him all the time or whatever. So yeah. He then like, how have you been? What have you been up to? Oh, well, I just bought a house. I'm working on a show. Da, 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 da. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Now he, of course, ain't got shit going for himself. So he then says, well, how about we can kind of like go out or whatever? I have tickets to this this concert or whatever. It's like a sold out concert, and we can go together. He then writes down his phone number and gives it to her and says, give me a call so we can set it up. She says, okay. And he gives her number. He leaves out. And then she then asks the store clerk, was he wearing underwear? And I had to rewind it. And I was like, he did. He had on underwear. And she said, yeah, he had on Calvin's. I said, okay, now bitch, Calvin's. Okay. She said, he can't be broke, right? And she's like, no, he looks like one of those trust fund kids. You know what I'm saying? They come in here all the time. So, you know what I'm saying? He's fine. Don't judge a book by its cover, honey. And any man in these streets in his damn drawers cannot be rich. I just don't think. I just don't think that. Anyway, so yeah. We then see, Sean and Yazir outside. Like, it looks as if they sitting at the bus stop. That's just me. And they're basically talking. Sean is like, you need to get your young girl. Because I know you frustrated with Ruby, how she just pressured you to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And you're just trying to make your dreams come true. Get your young girl who don't mind eating like Taco Bell and cheap stuff. He like, I don't need a girl. I just need my dreams to come true. And like, last year, Nuri was also broke and chasing her dreams. And now, a year later, she has bought a house. She's working on, and she's working on a TV show. Like, she's a writer. She is accomplishing more things. And I'm 33. I'm broke, walking around in my drawers and a tight t-shirt. I say, well, see, bruh, I'm like, you got to be real broke to only be in your drawers. I mean, because you don't have like even a pair of hoop shorts. Like, bro, what's going on with that? So, he like, well, you came back here for a reason. You have to kind of just play it out, and you have to remember, ask yourself if Robin is worth what you're going through. And then he says, well, is your girl worth it? And he like, well, I don't know. I don't really know her. We just have a kid together. I'm like, well, you had a baby with a stranger? Okay. So we do see Nuri at work. And she's talking to like one of her friends. And it's right after she was talking to another guy she's dealing with who was inviting her on like a little couples vacay trip. So she's talking to a girl about it too. And you know what I'm saying? We then see Dry Humper dude, who his name was Will, with a full-fledged attitude, bringing mail. So yeah, she was dry humping the damn mailman at her job. I'm like, girl, don't do that no more. We then find out she technically is messing with, again, 3 guys. We have the Dry Humper Will. And then the other guy on the set, Keith, who I'm guessing she also dry humping or whatever. And she has a whole boyfriend who lives in New York named Derek. So she's juggling these 3 men. And, she's like, you have a boyfriend too? So like, what's up with that? And she's like, look, I know he has hoes in New York, so I'm just going to be doing me and dating until he gets his shit together. So, it is what it is. So at this point in time, she has a whole boyfriend, but she doing other things. Yes, Zir has a whole girlfriend that he lives with, but he's still doing things too. It's a whole bunch of sharing going on. So she then said, you know what I'm saying, because when the friend said, like, I'm trying to figure out how yo, you know what I'm saying, host decks go with all these men you're dealing with. She said, look, I make sure that I dry hump and hand job them 3 days apart. I say, bitch, out here dry humping and hand jobbing? I'm like, people hand jobbing and dry humping? Look, if she hand job and dry humping 3 days apart, her clothing, her hand is pregnant. Okay, I mean, her clothes has all kind of just DNA, baby's birthed on it. I mean, her hand is just, girl, I could not do it. I could not do it. So she's thinking the message thing, the mail is from the guy, what's his name? The guy who she was kissing out, the Keith guy, who wants to invite her out to go on a couple trip. But no, it's from Yazir. So he sent her a handwritten note about the concert and also a clipping from the paper about the sold out concert that he's giving her a ticket to and the ticket. And so her friend like, girl, he did all of this for you, but you know, she's like, you know what? You don't deserve him. He was like, you know, he's a great, great guy. You know, he sent you this handwritten note. It's just too much. You know, you can't be stingy and want to date him too. You know what I'm saying? She said, you the reason that men, you ruin men for us other women. They run to Asian women. You know what I'm saying? And that's true. You have men who date black women say, oh, she ruined me. And they will go elsewhere and say because all black women do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So I did like how the friends are like, look, don't fuck him up for us, okay? Don't date him and fuck him up. And then he don't want to date nobody else that look like us. Even though they don't look like each other or whatever. But I get what she meant. Like, you can't. You already fuck people up anyway. Don't add him to the mix when he seems like a great guy. But they don't know. He broke. He lived with a girl. So, I mean, how great is he? Anyway. So, she's like, you know, you can't go. Just don't go. Just call him and cancel. Just don't worry about it. So, we see that whole thing. You know, we hear Yazir and Robin basically arguing. You know, Hurst like, I need to get a job, and the whole thing about how they're just kind of not on the same page. And we see him like just walking through the streets, and he is smoking a cigarette. I'm just like, oh, he smokes too. I used to smoke cigarettes, but I could not date a smoker now. And it's so hard. Look, like the guys I meet, oh my god, they smoke. I'm looking like, I can't date you. I can't. It's just, ugh. Anyway. So he's walking and smoking cigarettes, and he goes to a payphone. I said, bitch, a payphone? I remember payphones. Oh, my God. And he calls his mom, and she's like, I can hear the brokenness through the phone, bitch. His mom was played by Loretta Devine, and I love her in this scene as his mom because she's cracking jokes. Like, I can hear that through the phone. I'm parched, so I'm gonna be pausing while you're talking. I mean, I'm not listening. And also how, you know, because he's like, you know, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I out here for the right reason? You know, Robin is being pissed off about this, and this. And she said, you know, she knew you was weird when she met you. She knew that you went in dark rooms and folded your legs up. I said, she did what? And she was describing him meditating. He said, Ma, it's called meditation. She said, no, it's called you ain't got nothing else to do. You ain't got no job because you have time to go in there and meditate. So it was like little funny things of them talking. And he's just basically doubting if he's supposed to stay in LA. So he's calling his mom, Collect, by the way, to get some encouragement, to get some just words to let him know if he's doing the right thing and if he should just kind of tuck his tail and go back to wherever else. And she's like, look, you know, you moved there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I believe in your talent. But however, that won't matter if you don't put forth the effort to make other people see it too. So it's like, you know, you have to just stick it out to try to, you know, because you have to make your own dreams come true. And I love that advice she gave him, meaning she didn't say you ain't gonna fall in your face. What she's saying is, I believe in you, but you have to just kind of stick it out, because me believing in you and me thinking that you're going to be the great person won't mean shit if you're not putting forth any effort to have other people besides me see it. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, you know, Mom, he needed to hear that. So we then see he at home washing dishes, Robin on the couch, cutting TV up because she felt like he washing dishes too loud, and the phone rings, and she answers, and it's Nuri, and she says, Yazir, telephone, is Nuri. And he answers the phone and like walks into the other room. I'm looking like, she didn't say, well, who is this? Like, nothing. I'm like, well, okay, it's kind of weird. So we then see he leaves and meets up with Nuri at the place they met a year ago. So she's trying to say, I can't go with you to this play, to this concert. Take the ticket back. I can't go. And he's saying, yes, you can. You know what? You came here to reject me, but I'm not going to do it. And she's like, no, I can't go. I don't want to do it. I can't take this ticket. He says, okay, we'll pay for it. She's like, I don't like jazz enough to pay for it. So no. He's like, okay, well then just take the ticket and just still go. And she said, well, who will get the other ticket? He said, I'll still go. She's like, no, because, we just shouldn't go together. He said, we won't be together. He like, at a place like that, you don't even talk. You just listen. So we'll be two people there, just watching it. And I'm like, he really wants to go with her. And she doesn't want to say no, but she also does not want to say yes. So it's kind of cute to see that. And then they start talking. He says, what does your name mean? She explains what her names. They go back and forth about what their names mean, how different religions they were born into, and then what they switched to later. And things are kind of going good with the conversation until she mentions how she drinks. He's like, oh, do you? Meaning he must not like drinkers. And then he says, I don't drink, but I smoke. And she's like, oh, do you? So again, he does something that she doesn't like, but she does something that he doesn't like. And she's like, you know what? It's kind of getting late. You know what I'm saying? I should leave. Now I'm like, cause sometimes smoking and drinking is a breaker. So when she's walking away, he says, you know what I'm saying? What do you make time for? And she stopped and turned and looked and listened. And, at that point in time, they didn't sit down and they're talking a little bit more. Talking about how she's like, don't give up on your dreams. She brings up how she quit her job from before and how she kind of just quit her job that she was making money from and just stuck to writing and being a starving writer. And she just kept going at it and kept going at it until she got to where she is today. And it tells him, stick to what you know. Stick to your dream. She's like, I'll even read your stuff and maybe pass along to some of my, people or whatever. I can't think. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So we see that whole thing. Then he kind of brings up how his mom went to prison, because he said how his mom used to open up for all these different stars, and how so-and-so used to babysit like these famous people. Oh, well, does she still sing? He said, well, no, once she got locked up, went to jail, that kind of stopped. And she said, oh, okay, yeah. And then, she says, yeah, my dad was also in and out of prison my whole life, which kind of made her cry a little bit, because she said, I've never really told anyone that. Like, I've never shared that with anyone. And at this point now, it's like 4 a.m. Just like it's 4 a.m. here, okay? And the dude at the restaurant, like, okay, it's like 4 a.m. Like, I have to close. So at this point in time, they have to leave. So you see him reach for her hand, and he's like, we here now, a year later, after we first met in the same place. What if we had just started dating a year ago? Like, where would we be today? And she said, so I feel like we weren't ready a year ago. And he says, if we were together, if we had been together for a year, what would you say to me right now? And she's like, well, I can't say that because it's crazy. And he's like, you can say it because I feel it too. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here? Like, what are they doing? It was so sensual and such a connection and a feeling like they are on a whole different plane from sitting there talking for all these hours. And now I'm not even a person. I'm not a person that believes in like love at first sight. Like, I believe if I meet you, I should not like you for like a month or two because you could be a murderer. And but even in this case, she likes him, he likes her, but however, they don't know the baggage that each person claims. And earlier in the episode, she did say, like, I'm coming into a relationship with no baggage. I don't want to have a man with the kids and baby mamas because that's just too much baggage. That I don't bring baggage. He should not either. So she's liking this man who has baggage, and she don't even know yet. So she then says, when he said, what would you say to me if we had been together for a year right now? And she's like, I can't. And he's like, no, what would you say? And she said, I love you. And he said, I love you too. I say that on the first date. I love yous. And then he said, let's cut the bullshit. Let's just start this life together so that in another year, we've been together for a year. Let's just start this life together. The damn coffee shop man said, let me help y'all be together. Opened the door and said, have a nice night. Because again, y'all, you can't be together here. I'm ready to go. It's 4 a.m. Technically, it's 4:02. So they go outside because they leave. They're like, oh, it's so funny. So they're outside. She's like, okay, so what now? And then they just start making out. I'm like, okay, like a whole love make out scene. I'm like, now they don't look like the day, you know what I'm saying, dry hump. They don't look like she gave him a hand job. Like I was like, if they wake up in the bed with clothes on and they dry humped, I'm gonna be a little bit upset. But they just kissed. And so you then see her at home in her bed, like touching her lips because she is remembering kissing him and how it made her feel, and it made her feel happy. So she's happy in the moment, remembering with him. We then see him going home too, and he's also smiling. Smiling. But honey, is her name Robin? Because I've been saying Robin all day, honey. And if it isn't Robin, I'm going to feel real stupid. Is it Robin? Ruby. The girl's name was Ruby. Every time I say Robin, I mean Ruby. Don't worry about that. Anyway, Yazir gets home and Ruby is waiting in the cut. So he come home, he's smiling, and it's late, of course, because that was at 4 a.m. So right, it's like 5 now. So he's fixing up the couch because he sleeps on the couch. She is like in the hallway and like her teaching in panties, and she's seeing him come in. She's like, "Hey," he's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to wake you." He's like, "No, it's okay. I was already up." "So you want to come get in the bed with me?" And he looked, and he said, "Nah, I'm okay right here." And it's like, "Oh, it wouldn't be no issue because you know I'm about to go to work, so it'll almost be like you had the bed to yourself." And he was like, "No, I'm gonna lay here and just listen to this music." And she's like, "Oh, okay." I guess she felt like she put on her best, you know, Hanes boy cut drawers and tight, you know, wife beater type shirt, and he ain't paid no mind. And so he laid down on the couch and put the headphones on to listen to some music. And then she walked back up and she's talking, but he can't hear her. He's like, "Oh, did you say something?" "I said, I hope Nuri is okay with you having kids and not having a job and being broke and ain't got nowhere to go because it's time for you to go." He said, "Oh, okay." I said, ain't nothing worse than you telling somebody who don't have nothing to do or nowhere to go, they have to go. And they say, "Oh, okay." I was like, you really don't give up on me? You really, you know what? Get out right now. Because he just laid back down and put the headphones back on as if she did not say it's time for you to go. When I say it's time for you to go, I mean like right now. Like right now. Okay? Don't wait for nothing. Go. And, you know, he just says okay. And that's it. So we then see, you know, the future adult Yasir and Nuri talking about how, you know, that was the beginning and everything. We see, you know, Yazir saying Sean wasn't meant to get her phone number a year prior. It wasn't meant for them two to be, because had they been together, you know, me and her would not have been. And at the end of the day, she was already mine. He said, you know what I'm saying, you know, Nuri saved my life. So adults older, you know, 30 years later, Yazir is saying this was meant to be no matter what happens. But this is our story on how we got to this part of being happy. And I'm very interested to see the twists and the turns that we're going to see this season. So I'm very interested in this show. That is my review. It is 4:06 and I'm going to bed. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video, to subscribe to my channel, and other than that, I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. Peace.